Well, thanks for sticking around, those of you who did. This is just going to be a quickie presentation. It's obviously the Constitution and the bylaws, and the other single page is some of the organizational structure that we put together. And, well, let's get started. Unfortunately, I have to take my glasses off to be able to read this, and then I can't read your faces, so it's, yeah. Maybe that's a good thing. I don't. Okay. In early 2021, the admin planning group, it's Pastor Stephen, Nicole, Humphrey, me, and VJ, started looking at the church's organizational structure. At that time, the administrative planning group seemed kind of like a mishmash of financial things and some trustee responsibilities. And we thought maybe we should take a look at things and kind of switch them up a little bit. Our current Constitution, which was passed in 2016, was going to be reviewed every 3 years or so, but I don't think that ever really happened. So, 2021 was 5 years, and we figured it's time to start looking at the old Constitution, see what we could do. Thinking our Constitution might need an update, we looked at guidelines from organizations such as Living Water Association and Generosity Plus. Some of you might be familiar with those organizations. We also read portions of books regarding church structure, that included some real riveting titles like Governance and Ministry, Simple Church, Transforming Church Boards into Communities of Spiritual Leaders, and Understanding Your Congregation as a System. Those were some blockbusters that we covered. After discussing these, the members of the admin planning group, we each wrote our own organizational chart, and then we met, kicked around ideas, looked at things, narrowed things down, and then we developed an organizational model from which we could start rewriting our Constitution and the bylaws. An offshoot of all of this research came as the much-needed Finance Committee was formed. We realized we needed, once again, that had been kind of eliminated in the old Constitution, but we decided to get that one going again. In mid-2022, we rewrote the church's mission, values, vision section of the Constitution. That was voted on and approved by the congregation. I think that's Article 2. We also rewrote the membership section of the Constitution. That was also voted on and approved by the congregation. I think now that is Article 3, used to be Article 5. With those two pieces in place, the admin planning group moved on to the governance section of the church's Constitution, meaning the elected officials and what group does what. So by mid-2023, we came up with a partial draft, and we presented that to the Executive Council for their feedback. We got some pretty good ideas from some people on the Executive Council, and we took that feedback, went back to the drawing board to incorporate those suggestions and additions. We now have developed a revised draft of the Constitution and the bylaws. This new rendition was sent to the Executive Council recently, and all of the planning board chair people, and we got some feedback from that too, which again we had a meeting last Thursday, I think it was, and we took that feedback, incorporated it into this latest version, and this is what we have now that's in front of you. We feel that it's simplified, and hopefully it'll be viable for a long time. We kind of shrunk the Constitution to just the bare bones of what needs to be in a Constitution, rather than 12 pages. I think it's now 7. And the bylaws, we realized there was some redundancy in the bylaws, so we've reduced that from 13 pages down to about 7, I think, or whatever. We're not asking anybody to I mean, I just handed it out, so I know you need time to absorb this and read it if you want to. Here again, it's not. Anyway, I don't know that anybody would have any specific questions right now. If you do, I'd be glad to try and answer them. But what we're going to do is put this in the bridge for the next few weeks, and you'll be able to respond that way directly to the admin planning group. Our email address will be in there. Also, you know, if you want to make phone calls, if you call the office, Nicole can direct you or take your questions, and any way you want to communicate. If you've got questions or you think something's added or you wanted something taken out, that's fine. We're looking for feedback from the congregation now. And I think it's April the 7th is going to be when we vote on this. So that gives us about 4 weeks for everybody to kind of take a look at it. And those at home watching, if there is anybody, you know, feel free to contact us and let us know. So my whole little spiel here is just to show you that this isn't some overnight thing that we threw together. We've been working on this for like 2-3 years now. Are there any questions or any comments? No? Oh, yeah, Jane. Thank you. For those at home that couldn't hear Jane, she said what a fabulous job the admin planning group has done, and she wanted to thank us. Yeah, Bill. Yes, there will. If you look at that, did you get both sheets? Okay, but there's one page that we show the organizational structure, but we also show some changes. I'm glad you mentioned that. I can bring those up. On the back of this single sheet, it says one congregational meeting, which is what's going to happen in the future, probably starting next year, obviously. There'll be 8 officers and 4 officers and 4 board chairs, so a total of 8 people will be elected each year. But as far as voting members of the guiding board, which will kind of take the place of executive council, there could be up to 13 people that can vote on that. So we're kind of going back to our 2 iterations ago constitution, where the guiding board or the executive council, whatever you want to call it, included a lot more people. Not all that many. I guess now we have 7. So, but and also on this sheet, our rollout timeline is on here. Bill, you didn't get today's paperwork? Okay, I'll. Oh. Okay. Anyway, the rollout timeline, you know, we're going to vote on this in April. If the congregation decides, up till we vote on it, any changes, any ideas, anything that anybody comes up with, we will discuss and we will get back to. We will answer all questions and everything, we being the admin planning group. But should it pass in April, there's a step-by-step rollout because of changes in the organizational structure. We're going to need time to get the right people in the right places. So May and June, we're going to recruit people for positions. July of this year, try and start operating under this new constitution and bylaws. And by January of next year, when we have next year's congregational meeting, I think we'll get the final approval of whether this whole thing that we've been working on for 3 years, people, No, uh, whether or not it's going to fly, you know. So here again, I know passing this out 10 minutes before I start blabbing away up here is not ideal, but it's a start, and we've got 4 weeks to hear questions and anything. Yeah, Jane? The elders? Where's my definition here? Is it VJ or Pastor Stephen? Can you? Oh, it's in the bylaws. Okay. What the heck? Believe it or not, our meetings ran a lot smoother than this.
Line 65.
Oh, line 65. Okay, here it is, right from the bylaws. The elders board will be composed of up to 1 elder for every 30 active families in the congregation, with no less than 4 elders for any term. Elders are nominated by spiritual lay leaders of the congregation and are approved by the senior pastor. 1 elder should be elected as chair for the guiding board. Responsibilities: receive training on being an elder and pray regularly. Divide families in the Constitution evenly between the elders for spiritual guidance and discipleship. I know I grew up in Avon Lake at United Church of Christ there, the Congregational Church, and we had elders, and what the elders would do is go out. They'd have a certain number of families that they would constantly stay in touch with, and by constantly, a phone call once a month or so, just to, hey, haven't seen you, how you doing? Or, hey, I heard this, what's going on? And something that I think has been kind of lacking here in the almost 40 years that I've been a member, in that I don't know that maybe years ago a couple times people reached out to us, but not very often. Usually when they reached out, it was the nominating committee. Hey, Bruce, can you be on? No. I just think that it'll be a board that I don't want to say it's going to take the place of our congregational reps per se. I think it's going to be a little more than that. Right now, the congregational reps, I feel like if somebody has something to say, they contact the congregational reps. Elders are going to be contacting the congregation. It's going to go the other way. And I don't know, I just think that this group of people will be very important in, making us more of a family. And I'll shut up now, because, okay, if that answers your question. Okay, but there's more of the responsibilities of the elders in the bylaws. All right. Anything else? Take it home and absorb what you see and let us know. Oh yeah, Joe, anything online? No? Just a few Z's across the... Okay, I understand that, yeah. Wait, hold on a second. Yeah, this is going to be in the bridge, And Pastor Stephen said that there will be emails going out. So hopefully, yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot of us here today, which makes my job easier, but I was hoping for a bigger crowd just to be able to get the word out to everybody. Because there's always somebody that's going to go, oh, I didn't hear about that. And it's like, oh, gosh, okay. So anyway, look in the bridge if you want to look at it online or take your copy home. I have a couple more. There's still a couple more copies over here if somebody needs one, I think. Anyway, that's about it. Oh, Vaughn. Well, thanks, Vaughn. Vaughn is just thanking the admin planning group. I agree with everything you said other than the talent part. I don't know. All right, I guess that's it. Thanks, everybody.